Hello and welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I've got some information coming out today regarding this war in Ukraine. We're going to be talking about Germany. So we've got news that Germany has joined the US in their announcement to allow Ukraine to strike Russia. So this is pretty big because Germany, for the longest time, was not okay with any strikes on Russian territory. I think this is a big reason why they didn't want Ukraine to receive these Taurus missiles, these cruise missiles that are very advanced and very powerful that they could be using right now. And Germany held off for quite a while on not sending these. I know they're probably very expensive, and they just don't want to give them to Ukraine for whatever reason. But now we've got reports coming out as of today that Germany is going to be authorizing Ukraine to hit some targets as well inside Russian soil. Now, I believe they're following alongside the US's stance where they're saying, hey, you can strike targets just beyond the border of Kharkiv. So we're not talking, targets like Moscow or like, 1,000 kilometers deep into Russia. We're talking just beyond the border of Kharkiv for right now. But we all know that this will expand, okay? This is the beginning of this. It's a slow inching into Russian territory where over time they will allow deeper and deeper strikes, is what I think they will start to do. But this is the beginning of it right here. So just be prepared for this. Now we've got Germany coming out. I know France came out and said the same thing. So many countries are giving support to Ukraine to allow them to start striking Russian territory. And this is just going to get crazy and wild and out of control. There's already lots of reports coming out right now. I'll be doing a report later from Dmitry Medvedev, their deputy chairman of their National Security Council, I believe is his status. And he's coming out and warning of nuclear war once again, that we're getting closer to this happening. So just craziness happening over here. And I've got some information we're going to be going over. So I want to show you this first here from AP. We also have a post from Olaf Scholz that we'll go over on X from a statement that he has made today. So Berlin lets Ukraine use German weapons against targets in Russia after the U.S. also eases its stance. It says here, Germany joined the United States on Friday in authorizing Ukraine to hit some targets on Russian soil with the long-range weapons they are supplying. A significant policy change that comes as depleted Ukrainian troops are losing ground in the war. Excuse me. So that's something that I've been hearing a lot of too. That Ukraine is. I mean, we know that in the Kharkiv region they haven't been doing very well, but as far as I know, they're kind of holding up. But it's interesting that they're saying that the Ukrainian troops are depleted. We do know that they don't have a lot of reserve troops right now to refill any ranks on the front lines. So maybe that's what they're discussing here. But for some reason, I'm getting the vibe on little messages that I see like this on different news media outlets that Ukraine is in a lot worse position than what we're really being told. And I think that's why the Biden administration and now Germany and many other countries are starting to come out and allowing this to happen when it comes to striking Russian territory. So Ukrainian officials have expressed frustration over restrictions on the use of Western weapons, especially as the border region of Kharkiv has endured a Russian onslaught this month that has stretched Kiev's outgunned and outmanned forces. Both Germany and the U.S. specifically authorized the use of weapons to defend Kharkiv, whose capital city of the same name lies only 20 kilometers or 12 miles from Russia. Russian ballistic missiles slammed into an apartment building in the city overnight, Ukrainian officials said, killing at least 6 people. Beyond offering Ukraine a chance of better protecting Kharkiv by targeting Russian capabilities in the region, it is not clear what effect the easing of restrictions might have on the direction of the conflict in what is proving to be a critical period, but it drew a furious response from Moscow and warnings that it could draw Russia into war with NATO. So something I wanted to note here too is if you notice this whole permission with Ukraine being able to strike inside Russian territory, they're saying for right now, obviously, that they can only do this in the Kharkiv region. Now, that shows that Kharkiv is a very vital city to not lose. And if you think about it, it's their second largest city. It's got like 1.3 million people, I believe, give or take. So it's obviously a major city to Ukraine, probably a major hub for economy too, like for producing money. It would probably damage their economy heavily if they were to lose that city, and a huge blow to the country and their morale and everything if they were to lose Kharkiv. So I think that's why they're protecting it so much. But if you notice, they're utilizing whatever they can, whatever resources they can to allocate to this area of Kharkiv and protect this region more than we've seen anywhere else in the entire country, even on the south or on the eastern side of Ukraine. They're definitely protecting Kharkiv to the max here. So the German government said Ukraine can use weapons and its supplies against positions just over the border from where Russia launches its attacks on Kharkiv. A day earlier, U.S. President Joe Biden gave Kyiv a green light to strike back with American weapons at Russian military assets targeting the region, according to U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. So yeah, I did talk about this yesterday. I talked about the United States coming out. Joe Biden secretly gave Zelensky the go-ahead, the green light to start striking targets inside of Russian territory. But as far as we know, again, only in the Kharkiv region, not anywhere else. Yeah, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm sure that that's not going to last very long. We'll probably be seeing Ukraine start to strike in other areas beyond just the Kharkiv region. And actually, I think I just heard a story coming out today. We'll probably be doing a video on it where I heard that Ukraine, just in the last few hours here, last 12 hours or so, they striked somewhere in the Krasnodar region. I think it was like a port or something, and I think this is in Russian territory, and they were using Neptune missiles from their navy, and they struck a port or some sort of gas facility over there or something, using Neptune missiles inside of Russian territory already. So I'll look into that some more, and we'll do a video on that later. But finally, I want to show you this here from Nexta. This is from Olaf Scholz. We have to avoid the big war, the war between Russia and NATO. While supporting Ukraine, we must at the same time remain aware of how to prevent an escalation that might cause a war between Russia and NATO. I promise, no matter how big the pressure becomes, that I will always act prudently to resolve issues in such a dangerous situation. We have to avoid the big war, the war between Russia and NATO. We must at the same time ensure that Ukraine is able to defend its sovereignty and independence, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said. So now you might be seeing this and thinking, well, if you're trying to avoid the big war, why are you striking inside of Russia? Now that's just a very difficult thing to answer, at least in my opinion. Is how do you let Ukraine defend itself without striking inside Russian territory? Because for right now, what they've been able to do is strike inside of their own territory. But what that does is it allows Russia to come into their territory first before being struck. So it kind of defeats the purpose of defending your territory. If you're supposed to be defending your border, if your border means anything to your country, you're supposed to defend your border, not defend the land beyond your border inside of your own country. So that's a very difficult thing for Ukraine to do without striking inside of Russian territory. And borders do matter, but at the same time, in order for them to defend their own border, they have to be able to strike Russian targets that are preparing to cross into their border. And I understand that. So this is obviously a very difficult and controversial situation, and it's not going to be easy to resolve. And he's saying here that he's going to do everything he can to prevent a wider war with NATO. But I don't know. I mean, how are you going to do that? How are you going to prevent a wider war with NATO when things are escalating so quickly? And again, Russia said they weren't okay with strikes on their territory. Vladimir Putin came out and warned about nuclear war. Now we've got Dmitry Medvedev. I'll do a video on that again later. Warning about nuclear war on these U.S. weapons and Western weapons being used in Russian territory. So this is getting out of control really quick here, and I'd be really surprised to see if Russia did not respond to strikes on their territory when this starts to begin. But like I said, I heard something today that the Krasnodar region got hit, and technically that's Russian territory. So I don't know. I'll have to go research that for you and find out what's going on with that. But crazy, guys. This war is really starting to get big and expanding over here. And I've been telling all of you that something is going to change here very soon. I think just maybe in the next few weeks, we may see a major hit on Russia, and their retaliation could be pretty expansive and extreme. So let me know what you think down below. That's going to be it for this update. If you got something out of this update, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. And with that, I hope y'all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless. And we'll see you in the next one.